civilians in Donetsk City. A recent evacuation of that city permits us to engage hard targets within the city perimeter. Target 1, Computer Communications Center. Target 2, Enemy Headquarters Building. Night conditions should neutralize enemy ground fire. However, the city has at least 3 interceptors available. We have no intelligence on force composition. From now on, you will have a wingman assigned to you. Inform him of the operation before departure. Reconnaissance indicates a weak link in their fuel supply infrastructure. A single pipeline transfers all crude oil from their fields to their refinery. Strike both the pipeline and the refinery. Target, oil refinery plant and oil field. Use the pipeline as a reference to the refinery. Locate and destroy.
Ready? Right now! Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. On our right. Bogey on our 6. On our left. Bogey on our tail. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. On our right. Up ahead. On our left. Bogey on our 6. Let's return on our right. Up ahead. Jesus, miss. Bogey on our 6. Enemy in sight. Let's take off. Quick shot. Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Fire. Shoot it down. Jesus, miss. Enemy in sight. Fire. Shoot it down. Back one. Bogey on our 6. Take off. Enemy target located. Quick shot. Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. Bogey on our 6. On our left. Enemy locked on.
Alert,
Take off.
body damage. Alert,
Quick
body
shot.
damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. Quick shot. On our right. Up ahead. Up ahead. Bogey on our 6. Take off. I'm losing him. Enemy target located. I'm losing him. Enemy target located. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot it down. Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot it down. Jesus, miss. Bogey on our tail. On our left. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot it on our right. He is toast.
Warning.
Bogey on our 6. On our right. Up ahead. Enemy in sight. On our right. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot it down. He is toast. I'm losing him! I'm losing him! Let's return to mission, buddy! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target.
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Let's return to mission, buddy. I'm losing him. I'm losing him. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked. Altitude too low. Fly. Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Yahoo! Bogey on our 6.
Warning.
Up ahead! Bogey on our 6. Enemy locked on us. Enemy in sight. Missile approaching. Dive! Dive!
Caution.
Up ahead! Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our 6.
Caution.
Pull out of it!
Engine stall.
Bogey at 12 o'clock. Up ahead! Bogey on our 6. Let's return to... Up ahead! Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our 6. Up ahead! Bogey on our 6. Take off! Enemy target located. Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Great shot! Toast! On our left! Enemy target located. Bogey at 12 o'clock. Up ahead! On our left! Up ahead! On our right! Bogey at 12 o'clock! Up ahead! Enemy in sight! Fire! Shoot it down! Toast! Up ahead! Bogey at 12 o'clock! Enemy locked on target! Up ahead! On our left! Bogey on our tail! Enemy targets located. Enemy targets located. Let's return to mission, buddy! Enemy targets located. Enemy locked on target. Altitude too low. Climb! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Altitude too low. Climb! Enemy targets located. On our left. Up ahead. Enemy in sight. Bogey on our tail. I'm losing him. Let's return to mission, buddy. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Great shot! Enemy targets located. Up ahead! On our left! Bogey on our tail! Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Let's return to mission, buddy! Enemy in sight. At altitude too low, climb!
Caution.
Enemy target located.
Low altitude.
Up ahead! On our right! Up ahead! On our right! Electric up ahead! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down! Bingo! Yahoo! Three back one! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yahoo! Mission accomplished.
Reconnaissance indicates a weak link in their fuel supply infrastructure. A single pipeline transfers all crude oil from their fields to their refinery. Strike both the pipeline and the refinery. Target: oil refinery plant and oil field. Use the pipeline as a reference to the refinery. Locate and destroy. The enemy has proved to have significant resources. This war of attrition is not to our advantage. We are now targeting key infrastructure sites. Target: resources mining system and production plant. Intelligence reports small targets operating in this...
Ready? Break now! Enemy in sight. Enemy targets located. And focus 12 o'clock. Altitude too low. Flying.
Caution.
Enemy in sight.
Low altitude.
Altitude too low. Flying. Bingo! Yeah!
Caution.
Take
Low
off.
altitude.
Altitude
Caution.
too low. Flying.
Low altitude.
Enemy targets located. Up ahead. Enemy in sight. On our left.
Alert body damage. Alert body damage. Alert body damage. Alert body damage.
Focus on our tail.
Alert body damage.
Take off. On our left. Enemy in. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. On our right.
Warning. Warning.
Enemy locked on target. Focus on our 6. Altitude too low. Flying. Missile approaching.
Caution.
Dive. Dive. Enemy targets located. Enemy targets located. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot it down. Enemy targets located. Enemy in sight. Up ahead. Enemy in sight. On our left. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot it down. Stay with him. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot it down. Close. Altitude too low. Flying.
Caution. Low altitude.
Enemy locked on
Caution.
too low. Flying.
Low altitude. Alert body damage. Alert body
Low.
damage.
Flying.
Alert body damage.
Great shot.
Alert body damage.
Too low.
Alert
Flying.
body damage.
Western altitude too low. Flying. Altitude too low. Flying. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Altitude too low. Flying. Enemy in altitude too low. Flying.
Caution. Low altitude.
Altitude
Caution.
too low. Flying.
Caution.
Enemy locked on target. Great shot. Altitude too low. Flying. Enemy targets located. Enemy targets located. Focus 12 with altitude too low. Flying.
Caution. Low altitude.
Take off. Enemy in sight. locked on target. Enemy target located. Altitude too low. Flying.
Caution.
On our right. Bogey on our 6. On our left. And up ahead. On our left. Bogey on our 6. Altitude too low. Flying. Take off. On our right. What? Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot it down. It's wasted. Fire. Bogey on our 6. Altitude too low. Climb.
Caution. Low altitude.
Altitude too
Caution.
low. Climb.
Low altitude.
Up ahead.
Caution. Low
Altitude
altitude.
too low.
Caution.
Climb. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot him down. Stay with him. On our left. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot him down. They blew him away. Altitude too low. Climb.
Caution. Low altitude.
Altitude too low. Climb. Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. Enemy locked on focus 12 o'clock. Altitude too low. Climb. Take off. I'm losing him. Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target. Altitude too low. Climb.
Caution. Low
Shot.
altitude.
Altitude too
Caution.
low. Climb.
Low altitude. Caution. Alert body damage.
Altitude too low.
Alert
Climb.
body damage. Alert body
On our left.
damage. Alert body damage. Alert body damage.
Enemy in sight. Up ahead. On our right.
Warning.
Bogey on our 6. Enemy altitude too low. Climb. Take off. Missile approaching. Dive. Dive. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot him down. Stay with him. Don't let him get a back one. On our right. Up ahead. Enemy in sight. Fire. Shoot him down. Stay with him. Don't let him get away. Stay with him. Get back one. Altitude too low. Climb. Altitude too low. Climb. Altitude too low. Climb. Enemy in sight. Enemy targets located. Enemy locked on. Altitude too low. Climb.
Caution. Alert body
Enemy locked on
damage.
us.
Alert body
Focus on our
damage.
six. Missile
Alert
approaching.
body
Dive.
damage.
Dive.
Alert body damage.
Take
Alert
off.
body damage.
Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. On our right. Enemy locked on target. Altitude too low. Climb.
Caution.
Focus on our tail. Mission accomplished.
The enemy has proved to have significant resources. This war of attrition is not to our advantage. We are now targeting key infrastructure sites. Target: resources mining system and production plant. Intelligence reports stealth fighters operating in this theater. Remember, their lack of radar signature makes visual sighting essential. The enemy's ADCRS, Air Defense Command and Radar System, has been identified. You can expect a steep drop in enemy effectiveness if this site is destroyed. The enemy...
Ready? Right now! Enemy targets located. Focus 12 o'clock. Focus on our 6. Enemy targets located. Take off. On our right. Focus on our 6. Enemy targets located. Enemy targets located. On our left! Enemy target located. Quick, jump! Bogey on our 6. Enemy locked on target. Take off!
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body
Bogey on our
damage.
6.
Alert, body damage.
Take off! I'm losing him! Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. On our right! Altitude too low! Fly!
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body
Bogey on our
damage.
6.
Alert, body
On our right!
damage. Alert,
Bogey on
body
our tail!
damage.
Take off! On our left! Enemy in sight. Up ahead! On our left! Up ahead! Bogey at 12 o'clock! On our right!
Alert, body damage.
Bogey
Alert,
on our
body
6.
damage. Alert, body
Take yours!
damage.
Altitude too low!
Alert,
Fly!
body damage. Alert, body damage.
Enemy target located. Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down! Jesus! Miss! Bogey on our tail! On our left! Bogey on our 6. On our left! Bogey on our 6. Take off! Enemy target located.
Warning.
Bogey on our 6. On our right. Up ahead.
Warning.
Bogey on our 6. On our left. Enemy in sight. Up ahead. On our
Warning.
right. Enemy locked on us. Missile approaching. Dive. Dive. Bogey, take off.
Warning. Warning.
Bogey on our tail.
Warning.
Enemy locked
Warning.
on us.
Warning.
Missile
Caution.
approaching. Dive. Dive. Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked. Bogey on our tail. Enemy target located. Bogey on our 6. Enemy on our left. Take off. Enemy locked on target. I'm
Alert,
hit. I'm
body
hit.
damage. Alert, body
Low.
damage.
Fly.
Alert, body damage.
I'm hit.
Alert,
I'm
body
hit.
damage. Alert, body damage.
On our left. Wingman is in trouble. Let's get him up ahead. On our left. Enemy bogey on our 6. Bingo! Altitude too low. Fly.
Caution. Low altitude.
Bogey on our 6. On our left. Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target. Enemy altitude too low. Fly.
Caution. Low altitude. Caution.
Altitude too low. Fly. On our left. Enemy in sight. Let's return to mission, buddy. On our right. Bogey on our 6. Up, take off. Enemy target located. Bogey on our 6. Take off. Enemy targets located. On our right. Bogey on our tail. Bogey on our 6. Take off. I'm losing him. Bogey on our 6. Altitude too low. Climb. Enemy in sight. Enemy bogey on our 6. Quick shot. Altitude too low. Climb. Enemy targets located. Enemy in sight. Bogey at 12 o'clock. On our right. Altitude too low. Climb. On our right. Bogey on our 6. Enemy targets located. Up ahead. On our left. Bogey on our 6. Enemy targets located. Take off. Enemy in sight. Enemy targets located. Up ahead. Enemy altitude too low. Climb.
Caution. Low altitude.
Quick shot. Bogey on our 6. Mission accomplished.